Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You have heard a long and complex case, gentlemen, and it is now your duty to sit down, to try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. If there is a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, then you must declare him not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then he must be found guilty. Whichever way you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The jury must retire.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Would you mind sitting according to the jury numbers, please? It starts from here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Chewing gum? Gum? Gum?
Thank you, Bandu.
You know something?
I know a lot of things. I've been advertising, you know?
You know it's hot.
Oh, I never would have known if she hadn't told me that. Would you?
I would have kind of forgotten.
All day, the only thing I have been doing is simply sweat like a pig.
I bet you aren't sweating like that kid who was tried.
You'd think they'd at least air condition this place. I almost dropped dead in the court.
My taxes are high enough.
This should be fast anyway.
Yes. It's hot.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody here. I'm going to lock the door if you need anything, just knock.
Did he lock the door?
Yes, he did.
What do they think we are, crooks?
They lock us up for a little while.
And then they lock that kid up forever, and that's okay by me.
I never knew they did that.
Of course they locked the door, man. What did you think?
I just didn't know. It never occurred to me.
All right, let's admit right now that it's hot and humid and our tempers are short.
It has been a pretty hard week.
I feel just fine.
I wonder what has been going down there at the office. You know how it is in advertising? In 6 days, your job could be gone. And the company too. They're not going to like it.
Well, figure this is our duty.
Well, Mr. Foreman, please don't get me wrong. I'm not objecting to doing my duty. I'm just trying to say that by the time I get out of this, my job may not be waiting there for me.
Ask her to hire you. She's rich. Look at that outfit.
Is it an original? Yes, it is.
I have an uncle who is a tailor.
How does he do?
Not too well. You know, a friend of his, that's friend of uncle. The tailor, well, this friend wanted to be on this jury in my place.
Why didn't you let him? I would have done anything to miss this.
And get caught or something? You know, what kind of a fine he could pay for anything like that? Anyway, this friend of uncle was on a jury once, about 10 years ago. A case just about like this one.
So what happened?
They let him off, reasonable doubt. And you know, about 8 years later, they found out that he had actually done it anyway. A guilty man, a murderer, was turned loose in the streets.
How horrible.
Did they get him?
They couldn't.
Why not?
You can't hold a man in double jeopardy. Unless it's a hung jury, you can't try a man twice for the same crime.
I know, but it's not going to happen here.
6 days. They should have finished this in 2. All I have heard is talk, talk, talk. Did you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
I guess they are entitled.
Everybody gets a fair trial. That's the system. I suppose you cannot say anything against it.
How did you like that business about the knife? Did you ever in your life hear such a story?
Look, man, you got to expect that. You know the kind of people you're dealing with.
He bought a switch knife that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket.
A hole through his father.
An awful way to kill your father. A knife in chest?
Look at the kind of people they are.
What's the matter? You got cold?
A Lulu, these hot weather colds, you know.
I had one last year when I was on vacation too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take seats.
Right. This better be fast. I've got tickets to Hello Dolly for tonight. I must be the only girl in the world who hasn't seen it yet. Right, Your Honor. Start the show.
How about sitting down? The gentleman at the window, how about sitting down?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sit fast, man. It's tough to get it, isn't it? Here is a kid who bang just shoots his father down. It's there in the bloody element, man. They just bloody let their kids go wild. Fucking serves them right.
There's no point in getting emotional about it. It's a question of evidence, not how we feel.
We all agreed it was hot.
And our tempers will get short.
That is if we disagree, but this is an open and shut case.
Right. Now, you ladies and gentlemen can handle this any way you want to. I mean, I'm not going to make any rules. If we want to discuss it first and then vote, that's one way. Or we can vote right now and see how we stand.
Okay, let's vote now. Who knows, maybe we can all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right, let's vote please.
All right, let us vote.
Okay, anybody doesn't want to vote? All right. All those voting guilty, please raise your hand. That's 11. And those voting guilty? Those voting not guilty?
Hey, you're in the left field.
That's 11 to 1. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty. Now we know where we stand.
Do you really believe that the boy is not guilty?
Well, I don't know.
6 days he doesn't know.
Oh, in 6 days I can learn calculus. It is as simple as A, B, C, you know.
I don't think it is as simple as A, B, and C.
I have never seen a guiltier man in my life.
Oh, how does a guilty man look like? Are we to vote on his face? He's not guilty unless we say he's guilty.
You were in the court with us and you saw the same things that we did. The boy is a dangerous killer. You could see it.
Oh, where to see if a boy is a dangerous killer?
Oh, well.
No, I'd like to know, I insist. What facial characteristics of a killer are? Maybe you know something that I don't know?
Look, what is it about the case that makes you think that the boy is innocent?
He's just 19 years old.
That's old enough. He knifed his own father 4 inches into the chest. An innocent looking 19-year-old kid.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you that the boy is guilty, but we should try to avoid emotionally colored arguments.
All right, it was proved in a dozen different ways in the court. Do you want me to list them now?
No.
Well,
Do you really? Hey, Benny, sit down, man. Do you really believe in that stupid story that he's saying?
Manner.
Do you believe in that kid's story, ma'am?
Well, I don't know whether I believe in that story or not. Maybe I don't.
Then what did you vote not guilty for?
There were 11 hands for guilty. It's not so easy for me to just raise my hand and send a boy off to die without at least talking about it first.
Who says it was easy for me?
Or me.
No one.
He's still just as guilty, whether it's an easy vote or a hard vote.
Is there something wrong because I voted first?
Not necessarily.
I think the guy is guilty. You can't change my mind if you talk for 100 years.
I don't want to change your mind.
Just what are you thinking of?
All right. I want all of us to talk for a little while. This kid has been kicked around all his life, living in slums, his mother dead at 9. Well, that's not a very good head start. Do you know why slum kids get that way? He's a tough, angry kid. Because we knock him over the head once a day, every day. I think maybe we owe him a few words, that is all.
All right. It's hard. Sure, it was hard for me. Whatever I've got now, I fought for it. I worked for college. It was a long time ago, and one does forget, I suppose. Yes, I fought, but I never killed.
I know what it's like. I never killed nobody.
Yeah, I have been kicked around too. Wait until you join some advertising company and the big boy who buys advertising walks in. We all know that.
In my country, in Europe, kicking was a science. But here, let's try to find something better than that.
Look, man, mister, I need to tell you this, okay? Buddy, we don't owe that kick anything, okay? I mean, that guy's got a fair trial, na? You know how much bloody a fair trial costs? He's pretty lucky to have had it, man. We're not grown-up people here. You bloody expect us to believe some stupid story that he's saying, knowing what he is? I mean, look, I have lived among them all my life. You can't really trust a word of what they say. You know that.
I don't know that. What a terrible thing for a man to believe. Since when dishonesty a good characteristic? You have no monopoly on the truth.
All right. It's not Sunday. We don't need a sermon.
What this man says is very dangerous.
Look, there's no point arguing about this. Let's try to behave like civilized people.
Right.
All right, you doing this?
Thank you.
Sure.
So, if we are going to discuss about the case, why? Let's discuss the facts.
I think that's a good point. We have a job to do. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
I would just like to close the window. It's blowing on.
If you don't mind, I would like to have the window open.
It was blowing on me here.
Don't you want a little air? It's summer, it's so hot.
I was very uncomfortable.
There are 12 of us in this room. It's the only window. If you don't mind,
I have some rights too.
so do the rest of us.
For heaven's sake, why don't you trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right. If I would open the window if someone is there.
Would you like to take my chair?
Thank you.
Shall we get back to the case?
Right, let's get back, please.
I may have an idea here. I'm thinking out loud now, but it seems to me that it is up to us to convince this gentleman that we all are right and he is wrong. Maybe each of us should talk for a minute or two. Just try to decide.
That sounds fair enough.
Yes, very fair.
Supposing we go once around the table.
Okay, let's do it.
We will start with you.
Me.
I think the boy is guilty. I mean, it's obvious.
In what ways it is obvious?
Because it was not proven otherwise.
Well, nobody has to prove otherwise. It's innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on the prosecution and defendant doesn't even have to open his mouth. That's in the constitution. I'm sure everyone have heard of it, the Fifth Amendment.
Everyone has.
Yeah, I know that. See, what I meant, okay, the boy is guilty.
No reasons, just guilty. There is a life at stake here.
All right, let's get to the facts. Fact number 1. You remember the old man who lived on the second floor? Right underneath the room where the murder took place. At 10 minutes past 12, on the night of the murder, he heard loud noises coming from the upstairs apartment. He said that it sounded like a fight. He heard the boy yell to his father, "I'm going to kill you." A second later, he heard the noise of the body falling. He rushed to the door of the apartment, looked down, he saw the boy run downstairs and out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of day at around midnight.
Now what else do you want?
Well, something doesn't fit.
But the boy's entire story is flimsy. He said he was at the movies, but that's incredible because he doesn't even remember what picture he saw.
That's right. Did you hear that? She's absolutely right.
And he didn't have any ticket stubs.
Well, who keeps a ticket stub at the movies?
That's true enough.
I suppose. But the cashier didn't remember him.
And neither did the ticket taker.
And what about the old woman's testimony, man? If that doesn't prove it, nothing does.
Yeah, that's right. She saw it, didn't she?
Let's go in order.
Look, here was this old lady. She was lying on the bed. She was not getting sleep. It was hot, you know. Then she goes to a window, looks across the L tracks and sees this kid or whatever he was stick a knife into his father.
Well, but how could she be so sure that it was the kid? Because she saw the murder through the windows of the passing L trains.
And she's known the kid all his life, man, and her window is right opposite his. She swore by it in court, no?
Yes, I did hear her swear to it though.
Okay, and they also proved in court that you can really look through an L train and see what's happening on the other side.
Well, weren't you the one who was a minute or two ago telling me that you can't believe a word of what they say and you can't trust them?
So
how do you trust her? She's one of them, you know.
You think you're very smart now?
Now take it easy.
Come on now, come on. Sit down.
Goddamn idiot, man.
Relax. What are you get you all upset for? Relax.
He's continuously speaking nonsense.
Ladies and gentlemen, they did take us into the woman's room and we did see through the windows of a passing L train, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And you were able to see what happened on the other side?
Well, I didn't see as well as they told me I'd see, but I did see what happened on the other side.
You see? Do you see?
Let's calm down now. It's your turn.
I will pass it.
That's your privilege. How about you?
I don't know. I started to be convinced, with the testimony from those people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy around 7 o'clock that night? I can't be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
Yeah, right, it was 8 o'clock.
Yes, they heard the father hit the boy twice. Then they saw the boy run angrily out of the house.
Right.
Well, what does that prove?
Well, it doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Anything else?
No.
I don't know. Most of it's been said already. We can talk all day about this thing, but I think we are wasting our time.
I don't.
Neither do I. Go on.
Look at the kid's record. He stole a car. He's been arrested for mugging. I think they said he stabbed somebody in the arm.
Yes, they did.
He was picked up for knife fighting. At 15, he was in reform school.
He was put in reform school for stabbing someone.
This is a very fine boy.
His father used to beat him up regularly ever since he was 5 years old. His father used his fists on him.
So would I on a kid like that.
You know the way kids are. They just don't listen. I have a kid. When he was 8 years old, he ran off from a fight. I saw him. I felt so ashamed. I told him, either I'm going to make a man out of you or I'm going to bust you into pieces trying. At 15, he hit me in my face. He's big, you know. I haven't seen him in 3 years. Rotten kid. You pour your heart out to them. Let's get on with the case.
Look, you are missing the point here. This boy, he may have come from a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't do anything about it. We are not here to discuss why slums are breeding grounds of criminals. They are. I mean, I know it, so do you. And the children who come out of these backgrounds are often potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want to bloody have a part of them, and believe me.
I have lived in a slum all my life.
Now, wait a moment.
I have played in a backyard that was filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells on me.
Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal.
There is something personal.
Come on, fella. He doesn't mean you. Sit down. Let's not be so sensitive.
Who does he mean then?
I can understand his sensitivity.
Let's stop the bickering.
We are simply wasting our time out here.
It's your time.
Right. I had a very peculiar feeling about this trial from the very beginning. Somehow I felt that Defense Counsel never actually conducted a thorough cross-examination. There were so many questions which were left unanswered.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Although that doesn't change my opinion about the guilt of the boy, the defense counsel, I think, was really bad.
So?
So this is the point.
What about the facts?
There were so many questions which were left unanswered.
What about the questions that were answered? For instance, the cute little switch knife. You know, the one the fine, upright boy admitted to buying?
All right, let us talk about the cute little switch knife. Mr. Foreman, we would like to take it in here and have a look at it. The cute little switch knife.
Everybody in this room has had a good look at the knife in the court. What's the necessity of having a looking at it again?
The gentleman has every right to see the exhibits and evidence.
All right.
And see, this knife, it is a pretty strong piece of evidence, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would.
So why don't we talk about the sequence of events as they relate to the switch knife?
Yeah, and the boy admits coming out of his house at 8 o'clock at night after being slapped by his father.
Or punched.
Or punched. So this boy, he goes out into the neighborhood store and buys himself a switch knife. The shopkeeper who sold it to him was arrested the next day and he admitted to having sold it to the boy.
And anybody who has had a look at this knife knows that it's pretty unusual. Very hard to find something like this.
Yes, the storekeeper actually admitted that it was the only knife of its kind that he had in stock. Now, why did the boy get it?
As a present for a friend of his, he says.
Am I right so far?
Yes, you're right.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Everybody listen to this woman.
Okay, so the boy next claims that on the way back home, this knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket into the street and that he never saw it again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a story. You know what really happened? This boy, he took the knife home, after a couple of hours, stabbed his father with it and even remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Thank you. As you can see, this is the knife. Everyone connected to the case identified this knife, right? So, are you trying to tell me that a perfect stranger picked up this knife from the street, went to the boy's house, and stabbed his father with it, just to be amusing?
No, I'm just trying to tell you that the boy might have lost the knife and someone else with a similar knife, yes, with a similar knife, might have stabbed his father.
Look at this knife. It is a very strange knife. I have never seen anything like this before in my life. Neither had the shopkeeper who sold it to him. Aren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
No, I'm not trying to make anyone accept anything. I'm just saying that it is possible.
And I'm saying that it's not possible. What is this? What do you think you are, man? What is this?
The same knife!
Quiet. Let's be quiet.
Where did you get that?
I got it from the pawn shop on the boys' corner. It just cost me $2.
Now you listen to me, mister.
I am listening to you.
You have pulled a real smart trick here, but you have proved absolutely zero. There could be tens of knives like this, so what?
Yes, there could be tens of knives like that.
The boy lied and you know it.
And maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did lose the knife and maybe he did go to the movies. And cashier and ticket taker didn't remember him because maybe he sneaked into the movies. I mean, are you trying to tell me that none of you here ever sneaked into the movies when you were young?
I didn't. Oh really? Not even once?
We didn't have the movies.
Oh.
My point is, he may have gone to the movies, he may not have gone to the movies, and he may have lied. Do you think he lied?
What a stupid question, man. Certainly he lied.
How about you? Do you think he lied?
You don't have to ask me that. You know what I think. He lied.
Do you think he lied?
I don't know.
Now wait a second. What do you think here? The guy's lawyer? There are still 11 of us who think he's guilty. You are alone. What do you think you're going to accomplish? If you want to be stubborn and hang this jury, he'll be tried again and proved guilty sure as he's born.
You're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? We could be here all night.
It's one night. A man may die.
Oh, now come on.
No, he's right. A man may die.
Come on, we ought to get on with it now.
How do you like this guy?
Why don't you ask him? He's the one holding up the show.
Look, it's obvious that you don't believe that the boy is guilty.
Well, I have doubts in my mind.
But you haven't really given us reasons for your doubts. Remember the old man downstairs. He heard it. He heard the boy shriek it.
And the woman across the L track, she saw it.
And he bought a switch knife that night and we don't know where he really was. At the movies?
Earlier that night, the kid and his father did have a fight.
Yes, he's been a violent kid all through. And while that doesn't really prove anything,
Still, you know.
All right. I have a proposition for all of you. I call in for a vote. I want you all 11 to vote by a secret ballot and I'll abstain. If there are still 11 of you who think that the guy is guilty, I will not stand alone and we will take in the guilty verdict right now.
That sounds fair. Is everyone agreed?
I certainly am.
Okay, let's do it.
Perhaps.
Okay, that's 11. Guilty, 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 guilty.
That's 6.
Please. 6 guilty, 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 guilty.
Hurry up.
Not guilty. Guilty.
What the hell, man?
Who are they? I think they have a right to know.
Who was it? Who was that idiot who changed the vote?
Is that the way to talk about a man's life?
Whose life are we talking about? The life of the dead man or the life of a murderer?
I want to know who.
So do I.
Excuse me, it was a secret ballot.
It was when we cast our votes. Now I need to know.
A secret ballot. We all agreed on that point, no?
The most sickening thing I have seen in
Now,
my life.
Hildy,
No, I agree with you that the boy is guilty. But let's try to be fair about it.
Hold it. Be fair. That is exactly what I'm talking about. We need to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs, and all of a sudden we are listening to these fairy tales.
Just a minute!
Now you listen to me.
let's calm down now. Try to keep this organized, people.
Organized? This is not organized. Let's try to be civilized.
Please, I would like to say something here. I mean, I saw that a person was entitled to have unpopular opinions in this country. This is the reason I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Do you disagree with us?
Usually, I would. This is one case where I agree with you. But the point that I wish to make is that in my own country,
Hey,
I'm ashamed
we're
to
not,
say,
look, we're not here to bloody listen to the whole history of the country, eh?
What? While it's wise to remember that there are countries in this world where one is not allowed to disagree, this is not one of them. So please, let us stick to the subject.
Yes, let's stick to the subject. I want to ask you, why did you change your vote?
So do I. You haven't answered us yet.
Why do you think I changed my vote?
Because I do. Now get on with it.
There's nothing for him to tell you. He didn't change his vote. I did. I was going to tell you, but you were so sure of yourself.
Sorry. Okay now.
Would like to know why.
Let me tell you why that kid said.
The man wants to talk.
Thank you. This man chooses not to stand alone against us. That's his right. He wants someone to support him. He played the gamble and I gave him. I want to hear more. The vote is 10-2.
Okay, Grandpa, lecture over. Shall we continue?
You know, if there was anything in the boy's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't know what it is.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
I guess as guilty as they get. It's the kid, I suppose.
Yeah, and there's only this one juror, you know, who is holding out. But, mark my words, he'll come around. Because fundamentally, he's a very reasonable man, so he's got to.
I guess so.
Yes, and they haven't really come up with one solid fact in support of a not guilty verdict.
Yeah, right. That's very true.
And what does even guilty beyond a reasonable doubt mean?
What's a reasonable doubt here?
Especially when it's a man's life at stake. What is a reasonable doubt? One has got to have law and order, you know. One has got to draw the line somewhere. Otherwise, people are going to go around knifing people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No doubt here.
But do men think so? I wonder why. I really wonder why.
But you know something? That there are innocent men who have gone to jail or death perhaps, and then years later things turn out.
Yes, but on the other hand, you hear of killers who are let loose. Yeah, then they go and do it again. They squeeze out on some technicality and go and kill again.
That's true.
Listen, buddy. Now that we have sort of cooled off, a few minutes ago I was real excited. Perhaps I was a little bit nasty. Nothing personal.
Okay.
Look, supposing you answer me this. If the kid didn't kill him, then who did?
See, as far as I know, we are supposed to decide whether the boy on trial is guilty or not. We are not even concerned with anyone else's motives.
I suppose, but who else had a motive?
Maybe an old grudge. Kid's father was along in years.
Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That is an important thing.
Everybody in this room is a lawyer. Suppose you tell us what your reasonable doubts are.
You won't understand. It's a feeling I have.
No, I don't.
What do we have here, man? You got to bloody spend the whole night talking about your feelings? What about the facts?
You said a mouthful there, buddy. Now let's discuss the facts. The old man, he heard the boy yell to his father, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard the noise of the body falling. 15 seconds after that, he saw the boy rush out.
Where's the reasonable doubt in this?
Yeah, and let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Now, is that not enough for you?
No, that's not enough for me.
What is enough for you? I'd like to know.
How do you like him? It's like talking into a dead phone.
You see, this old woman across the street, she saw the murder being committed through the windows of the passing L train. There were 5 cars in the train. She watched the killing through the last 2 cars. I mean, this woman, she remembers the most insignificant of details.
Now, what do you have to say for that?
I don't know. Something doesn't sound right to me.
Why don't you ponder on the mysteries of this universe? Hand me your pencil. Let us play some tic-tac-toe. We might as well pass some time. It's your turn.
This isn't a game.
Wait a minute.
This is a man's life.
Who do you think you are?
Okay, let's take it easy.
I'm in a good mind to walk around this table and belt him one.
Now please, I don't want any fights in here.
Did you hear him? The nerve, the absolute nerve.
Hey, forget it, man. He didn't really mean it. Sit down.
How about sitting down? How about sitting down?
This isn't a game. Who does he think he is?
Weren't we talking about elevator trains?
Yes, we were.
So,
All right. How long does an elevated train going at a top speed take to pass a given point?
what has that got to do with anything?
How long does it take? Yes.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Neither would I.
I don't think they have mentioned it.
How about you?
10 or 12 seconds maybe.
Yes, that's a fair guess. Anyone else?
About 10 seconds.
10 seconds, I would say.
All right, we are agreed. 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. An elevated train going at a top speed takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, and that given point is the window of the apartment in which the killing took place. Now you could actually reach out of the window and touch the L tracks, isn't that so?
That's right, I tried it.
So,
So, I'd like to ask you all, has anyone here lived next to the L tracks?
I've lived close to them.
They make a lot of noise, don't they? I myself live next to the L tracks, and when your windows are open and when L is passing by, the noise is unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, man. You can't hear yourself think. Bloody get to the point.
I am. Now, this old man downstairs, he heard the boy say,
The boy didn't say it, the boy screamed it.
alright, the old man downstairs heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you," and 1 second after that, he heard the body fell. Is that right?
Right.
so,
And the woman across the L tracks, she saw the killing through the last 2 cars of the L train. Isn't that so?
right.
So, the last 2 cars. The last 2 cars.
What are you giving us here, man?
Alright. An elevated train going at a top speed takes 10 seconds to pass a given point which has 5 cars. That is 2 seconds per car. Now, the woman across the street, she testified that she saw the killing through the last 2 cars. So the L train was passing by the window for 6 seconds before the actual knifing happened. Now the old man downstairs must have had to hear, "I'm going to kill you," right when the front of the L was roaring past his nose. There is no way he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure, he could have heard it.
With an L train passing by.
The boy yelled it out.
L train makes a lot of noise.
That's enough for me.
It's enough for me too.
I don't think he could have heard it.
I think old man didn't hear it. Maybe with else noise?
What are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that the old man is a liar?
No, something doesn't fit.
See, his explanation makes sense. With the airplane passing by, it's not possible to listen the boy shouting. There is doubt. He is putting right down. You might think we are crazy.
What does the old man have to gain from this?
Tension. Tension maybe.
You come up with these bright ideas. Why don't you send them to a newspaper? I've heard they pay $1 or $2.
What does that have to do with a man's life? Why the old man might have lied? You have a right to be hurt.
It's like I have been looking for that old man around many years. The seam of his jacket was split under his arm. Did you notice that?
Yes, yes. Okay.
He was a very old man with a torn jacket who uses canes. I think I know him better than anyone here. He's a quite frightened, insignificant man who has been nothing all his life. No one knows after him 75 years. This is a very sad thing. He has a right to be quoted, to be listened once. This is important.
And they were trying to say that the old man was lying about all this stuff just to feel important.
No, he wouldn't really lie. But he make himself believe that he heard the truth.
Well. If that isn't the most fantastic thing I have heard in my entire life. How do you know that the man make a thing like that?
I'm not making it up.
He must be making it up. People don't lie about things like that.
He made himself believe he told the truth.
What do you know about it?
Speak from experience.
What?
I'm the same old man.
I think we all understand now. Thank you, sir.
If you want to admit that you are a liar, it's all right with me.
Please, now that is too much.
He just said so that he's a liar.
He didn't say he was the liar, he was explaining.
Didn't you just admit that you are a liar?
Please, he was explaining the circumstances so that we could understand why the old man might have lied. There is a difference.
Liar is a liar and that's all there is to it.
Please have some compassion.
Now please, we have our job and our duty here.
I think they've covered it.
I hope we have.
Is there anything else?
Would you like to have cuff drops?
No, thank you.
Anybody like cuff drops?
Come on, let's get on with it.
I'll take one. There is something else I'd like to point out here. I hope we have established that the old man downstairs can't have heard the boy screaming, "I'm going to kill you."
Well, I disagree.
Oh, he has every right.
Well, about this phrase, "I'm going to kill you," how many times has each of you used it? Probably hundreds. If you do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Go on, Rocky, kill him. We say it hundreds of times. We don't really mean that we are going to kill somebody.
But don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
Remember, the phrase was, "I'm going to kill you."
And the boy yelled it out at the top of his lungs.
That's the way I understand it.
And don't tell me he doesn't mean it. Anybody who says a thing like that, the way they say it, they always mean it.
And how they mean it.
I'd like to ask you all something. Do you think the boy would shout out a thing like that so that his entire neighborhood would hear it? I don't think so. He's too bright for that.
Pride, that guy's a fucking ignorant snob and he don't even speak proper English.
He doesn't
even speak proper English.
Oh, the boy is clever enough.
I will like to change my vote to not guilty.
Damn it!
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
The vote is 9-3 in favor of guilty.
I would like to know why you changed your vote.
I think there is doubt.
Where is the doubt?
There is the knife.
Oh, fine.
You bloody believe in the fairy tales this guy is telling you about.
Allow him to continue. He has a right. Go on, give us your reasons.
There is this old man. Maybe he didn't lie, but then just maybe he did. Maybe the old man doesn't like the kid.
Well, if that is in the end,
I think there is reasonable doubt.
what are you basing it on? Stories that this guy made up? He ought to write for Amazing Detective Monthly. He'd make a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he?
Yes.
And why didn't his lawyer bring up all these points?
Well, lawyers can't think of everything.
Oh, brother. And you sit in here and pull stories out of thin air. Now we are supposed to believe that the old man didn't get out of the bed, run to the door and see the kid beat it downstairs 15 seconds after the killing.
That's the testimony, I believe.
Yes, and the old man swore to this. Yes, he swore to this. Why? Only so he could be important.
Look, did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, what's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember, but I don't see how he could run.
He said he went. I remember now. The old man said he went from his bedroom to the front door. Is it enough for now?
Where was his bedroom again?
Somewhere down the hall, man.
Somewhere down the hall. Are we to send the man off to die because his bedroom is somewhere down the hall?
Bloody, you remember everything. Don't you bloody remember this?
No, I don't remember that.
I don't remember either.
Mr. Foreman, we would like to take a look at the diagram of the apartment.
Why don't we ask them to run the trial over just so you can get everything straight?
The bedroom is down the hall somewhere. There is a life at stake here. Do you exactly know where the bedroom is? Do you know?
Well,
Mr. Foreman.
I heard you.
Why are you the only one in the room who wants to have a look at the evidence all the time?
I want to see this one too.
So do I. I just want to stop wasting time.
Does this mean that we are going to start wading through all that nonsense about where the body was found?
No, we are not. We are just going to see how the old man, who has had 2 strokes in past 2 years, and who walks with a pair of canes, could get to his front door in just 15 seconds.
It was 20 seconds.
I guess it was 15.
How can anybody judge a thing like that? It must have been 15 seconds.
It was 15 seconds. He was very positive about it.
You saw the old man in the court. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything? Well, you know.
No, we don't know. Perhaps you know.
Is this what you want? This diagram?
That's right. Thank you. You want this?
Yes, please. Thank you.
do me a favor. Wake me up when this is over.
Looked at that shit for 2 hours, man. Bloody, enough is enough.
Some of us are interested. Go ahead, please.
All right. This is the apartment in which the killing took place, and the old man's apartment is directly beneath it and exactly the same. Okay? These are the L lines. This is the window. This is bedroom. This is his bed. This is another bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, and this is the hall, and yes, this is the front door, and these are the stairs. Now, the old man said that he was lying in the bed, he heard some noises, he got up, and he went into the hall and down the hall, and he got to the front door just in time to see the boy running downstairs. Isn't that the testimony?
Yeah, that's the story.
That's what happened.
15 seconds after he heard the body fall. Isn't that right? Right. So, the length of the bedroom is 15 feet. The bed and the distance between the bed and the bedroom door is 12 feet. Okay, and the length of the hallway is 43 feet. Now, the old man had to get out of his bed, pick up a pair of canes, then walk 12 feet, come to the bedroom door, then walk 43 feet, and get to the main door just in 15 seconds. Do you think that's possible?
Of course it's possible.
I don't see why not.
Remember, the old man heard the scream. He would have been in a hurry.
But the old man could walk only very slowly. Remember, he had to be held up in the witness chair.
You make it sound like a long walk. It isn't.
For an old man who uses canes, it is a long walk.
Hey, you there. What are you doing?
Oh, I want to try this. Let's see how long it took him.
You are crazy. You cannot recreate a thing like that.
This is important. Perhaps if people see this,
It's a ridiculous waste of time.
Let him do it.
I'll pace off 12 feet.
There's no harm in it. Foolish, but go on.
Can you handle the chair?
Oh, sure.
Let's say this is the door of his bedroom. How far would you say it is from this door to the water cooler?
I'd say it is, say, 20 feet.
Just about 20 feet, sir.
Alright, so from this door to the water cooler and back is 40 feet. That is a few feet less than the old man actually had to move through. What did you say?
A few feet maybe.
Look man, this is insane. What makes you bloody think you can do all this?
We can't stop him.
Well, you wouldn't mind if we try this because according to you, it just takes 15 seconds, right? We can spare that. Is there anyone who has got a watch with the second hands?
I have.
Okay, so you just tap your foot when you want me to start.
And we will time you from there?
Alright, and let's say he keeps his canes by his bedsides.
Right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Wetting hands to get to 60. And here you go.
Come on, hurry up. You bloody walk twice as fast as this man.
I think this is even quicker than what the old man walked.
No, it isn't.
I'd speed up a bit if you want.
Speed it up a little.
And stop.
Okay, fine.
What's time?
It's 20, 30, 35, 39 seconds.
That can't be.
29 seconds.
No, that's interesting.
Hey, now, you know.
What do you think of that?
29 seconds.
Lloyd crippled. He swore upon oath that it was 15.
Yeah, and even given the little bit of speed difference between the old man and him, a difference of 24 seconds. Now you know.
Yeah, far be it from me to call anyone a liar. And even allowing for quite a difference in speed between the old man and him, why still there's quite
a discrepancy, I agree.
Now it's my guess that old man was in the hall rushing to the door and he heard someone going downstairs and he assumed that it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assume. What is the matter with you people? I have seen quite some dishonesty in my day, but this little display of yours, it takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Why don't you tell me? You walk in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor about slum kids and injustice, and you make up wine stories and you have a few soft-hearted ladies listening to you. Well, I'm not. I'm getting real sick of you. What's the matter with you people? The kid is guilty. He has got to burn. We are letting him slip through our fingers.
Our fingers. Our fingers. Are you his executioner?
Yes, I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch?
For this little kid, sure, I would like to pull the switch.
I feel sad for you.
Don't get me started.
How it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts. You are a beast. You disgust me.
Shut up. Shut up. I'll kill him. Let go of me. I'll kill him.
You don't really mean that you'll kill me, do you?
No, there's nothing wrong. You can take that bath. We are finished with it.
What are you all looking at?
Look, there's no point behaving like children here.
I don't think so either. We have a responsibility here. I think this is a fine example of democracy. That we call it, notified. We are notified by mail to come down to this place and to decide upon the innocence or guilt of a man who we have never known before. We hold no stake in the verdict. There is no need to make it so personal.
Thank you very much. We forget. It's good to be reminded.
Okay, I'm glad that we are going to be civilized about it.
Well, we are still nowhere.
No, we are somewhere or getting there maybe.
Maybe.
Who has got an idea here?
I think maybe we should go for another vote. Mr. Foreman?
It's all right with me. Anybody doesn't want to vote?
Now let's vote.
Yes, vote.
Okay, let's do it.
I want this to be an
I
open ballot.
vote guilty.
I want this to be an open ballot, Mr. Foreman. I want to see where each one stands.
That sounds fair. Anybody object? All right. I would call up your jury numbers. I vote yes. I vote guilty. Number 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5,
Not guilty.
6,
Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not good.
9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty with a capital G.
11,
Not guilty.
12.
Guilty, of course.
That's 6 to 6.
It's 6 to 6.
I am ready to walk into court right now and declare ourselves to be a hung jury. There is no point in this continuing like this anymore.
The vote is 6 to 6.
Look, what is it that made you change your mind? Madam, what is it that made you change your mind? And why did you change your mind? And why did you? You know, 6 people in this room think that we are letting a murderer loose on the streets. Emotion won't do. Why?
It would seem that the old man did not see the boy run downstairs. I do not think it likely that the old man heard someone scream, "I'm going to kill you." Old men, they dream. And if the boy did scream, "I'm going to kill," then we have the authority of this man here to prove that it might not really mean he's going to kill.
Why don't we take it into the judge and let the kid take his chances with 12 other guys?
6 to 6. I don't think we will ever agree on anything.
The vote has to be unanimous and we'll never be able to convince this man.
Well, initially I was alone. Now there are 5 others who think that there is a doubt.
You will never be able to convince me that there is a doubt because there is no doubt.
I'll tell you what. Maybe we are hungry. It happens sometimes.
If there is a reasonable doubt, I don't think I see it.
The doubt is there. In my mind.
Maybe we should vote.
What do you mean? Vote?
Not again.
What are we going to vote for now, man?
Are we or aren't we a hung jury?
So, you mean that if we vote yes, we are a hung jury, then what do you mean? If we vote yes, then we are a hung jury or we are not a hung jury?
That's just what I was thinking of.
Can't even decide on whether the winner is guilty.
Let's make it a majority vote. The majority wins.
Okay, so you mean to say that if 7 or more of us vote yes, then we are a hung jury and then we take it into the judge and declare ourselves a hung jury?
Right. And if 7 or more vote no, then we aren't a hung jury and we go on discussing it.
Doesn't seem right to me.
That's the only solution.
It's the only way, I see.
Anything to end this.
Are we agreed then? 7 or more vote yes and we take it to the judge.
Fantastic.
All right. I vote yes, we are a hung jury. Number 2,
No.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No, we are not hungry.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes, continue.
11,
No.
12.
Yes.
Oh no.
It's 6 to 6.
We can't even get a majority. Whether or not we are a hung jury.
I went along with the majority vote, although I didn't really agree with it, and I still don't. So, Mr. Foreman, I am changing my vote. I say, no, we are not a hung jury. I think the boy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and I would like to find out certain things from the people who change their minds.
Then we aren't a hung jury. So, we go on.
Good, you go on.
Okay. So, madam, what made you change your mind?
See, he seems so sure about this, and he made some good points. While he gets angry and mad at everybody and insults everybody.
No, but the anger and the insult doesn't change the guilt of the boy. He did do it. And you can't let a murderer loose on the streets just because one juror gets angry at the thought.
It's true,
But still, there is doubt.
I don't think so. I don't think so. See, L trains make a screeching noise when they go around curves. But at that point of time, in front of the building, the train tracks is straight. So there, the L train would have made a low rumbling noise. So the old man might very well have been able to hear the scream, which is high-pitched. And remember, these are tenements, so they have thin walls.
Good, good. That's it. That's it.
So, what I'm saying is that the old man might have been wrong about how long it took him, but right about who he saw running down the stairs. Remember, there were no fingerprints on the knife. And this is summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
That's right.
Do you agree?
That's right.
Okay. So, and another thing, it would have taken, a couple of seconds to take out a handkerchief to wipe the knife.
Well, this is a point.
Why don't we time this one?
Just what are we timing?
Yes, let's be exact, please.
Okay, my point is that the old man might have been wrong about how long it took him, as we established, to go from the bedroom to the front door. But he might have been right about whom he saw running down the stairs. Because you see, it would have taken the murderer 39 seconds to commit the killing, run out of the hall, down the stairs, where the old man saw him, the boy that is.
Right. We reconstructed the old man getting out of bed and going to the door, and we even timed that. Now let's reconstruct the actual crime.
As well as we can reconstruct.
A murder could easily take 30 or 40 seconds at that point.
Right, let's do it.
Okay, let's.
Why don't you be the one that gets killed?
No, I will do it.
Okay.
Or you 1,000 times.
Also, remember to fall on your right side because the body was found on its right side, okay? Remember to
else?
fall on your, no thank you, just listen to what I'm saying. Remember that the body fell on the right side, so roll over on your right side as you fall, alright? There's another point that I would like to make, and that is, see, it takes a lot of, hatred, emotion to kill someone. So I think it's not unreasonable to suppose that the murderer would have looked at the victim for 1 or 2 seconds after the killing.
Divorce yourself from this particular case. It's just human nature.
Well, this also seems reasonable, yes.
Hey, wait a minute. Remember the old man was stabbed. When he fell from the bed, he would have been rolling on the floor, writhing in pain maybe.
Exactly, you've got a point there. There would have been enough oxygen in his system to carry him on for 2 or 3 seconds maybe.
That's right.
But at that point, wouldn't the partner find out?
Maybe the boy held his mouth.
Well, yes, this is possible.
And there's another point. See, a person who has the presence of mind to wipe away the fingerprints from the knife would also have the presence of mind to take a look around the apartment, the room that is, to see if he had left behind any clues. It would not take more than maybe 1 or 2 seconds, but I think he would have done it.
This gets better and better.
Please, it's not a question of quality when murder is involved. We're trying to make things clear here.
About this,
Let's do it.
on the fingerprint, the kid wiped the fingerprint of the knife. Well, what about the doorknob? If I saw a man coming into my home, a man that hated me, and if he was wiping a doorknob with a handkerchief as he came in, it would give me an uneasy feeling. So, the doorknobs must have been wiped after the killing, and these two would take some time.
Right. You're perfectly correct. You timed it the last time. Why don't you time it now too?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay. Thank you. Stamp your foot when you want me to start.
Okay. Hands at 16. Go.
I will kill you. You would have done both knobs.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay. It's 20, 25, 29 seconds, I would say.
Yes, so there might have been enough time for the boy to run down the hall and down the staircase, at least one flight of stairs.
You see?
So the old man might have been wrong about how long it took him to get to the front door, but might have been right about whom he saw running down the stairs.
See, we have done the time sequencing twice. Once by this gentleman and the other one by all of us. And it's about, going downstairs and everything. And both times, the timing was almost the same.
Sure, he's an old man who wants to be important. He's probably right. But I think the old man feels the same way each one of us does. Life is at stake.
Yes, so the old man's story might well have been true.
Except for the fact that he absolutely swore in the court that it was 15 seconds.
You all agree that it was 25 to 40 seconds.
Now are you trying to tell me that old man lied in part and told the truth in the other one? Because all of this does tend to confirm the story of the old man, but now he's proven a liar in the other part, and that is by your own admission.
I think old man lies in part, but we check the timestamps, right? I would like to change my vote once more. It's guilty.
What about you? What do you think?
I just don't know what I think. I want to talk some more. At first I thought guilty. Then I changed. Now I'm sort of swinging back to guilty.
What about you?
No, I'm in real doubt.
I say guilty. I was right the first time.
Now we are beginning to make sense here.
It seems to be about 9 guilty to 3 not.
Well, about this old man downstairs, how many of you have lived in apartment buildings?
I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking. It was that. I do live in the family, but there's one close by, and there's never even a light in there. There is only just one single light bulb in the hallway, and you can only barely see the steps. Remember how we all stumbled down the steps?
Exactly. The policemen carried big bulbs and one of them even had a flashlight. Remember?
So, when the old man misjudged the time by about 20 seconds on this, we all agree. Then, the same old man looked down the dark hallway and could recognize a running figure?
Exactly. Old man was 100% wrong about the time. It took almost twice of what he thought it would take.
right, then couldn't he be 100% wrong about whom he saw?
That's the most idiotic thing I have heard in my life. You are making that up out of thin air.
We are a hung jury. Let's be honest about it.
I swear, man.
Do you really think that there is no reasonable doubt?
Yes, I do.
Excuse me, but I don't think you understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand the term? Who do you think you are to talk to me like that? Look at this woman. She comes running over here for her life, and before even she can take a big breath, she's telling us how to run this show. The arrogance of her.
No one here is asking where anybody came from.
I was born right here.
Oh, where your father came from.
I think we should take a few tips from the people who come running down here. We are not so perfect. I think they know some things that we don't know.
It's quite alright. I'm used to this.
No, this is not all right.
Okay. I apologize. Is that what you want?
Yes, that's what I want.
All right, let's stop the arguing. Who's got something constructive to say?
I would like to say something. See, something been bothering me over here. This whole business of stab wound and how it was made. See, that downward angle of it.
Don't tell me we have to go over that again. We went over this in court many times.
Yeah, I know. But that something is not going along. Now see, the boy is 5 feet 8 inches tall. His father was 6 feet 2 inches tall. So there is a difference of 6 inches. Right? Now, don't you think it is awkward to stab a man into his chest who is half a foot taller than you are?
All right, let me tell you something. You are not going to be convinced until you see it. I'm going to give a little demonstration. I need somebody here.
For what?
All right, come over. Now everybody have a careful look. What's the difference in our heights? Is it about 6 inches?
That's more than that.
Even better.
That's not funny.
Is anybody hurt here?
With you.
Is anybody hurt?
No, nobody's hurt.
All right, take a look. Down and in. That's the way I would stab a man taller than me, and that's the way it was done. Take a good look and tell me.
Okay, fine.
Down and in, I guess there's no argument.
Have you ever stabbed a man?
Of course not.
Oh, have you ever stabbed a man?
Don't be silly.
Have you?
No, I haven't.
Then how do you know all these things about how it's done?
It's just common sense.
Or have you ever seen a man getting stabbed?
No.
This kid is an experienced knife fighter and he was sent to reform school for knifing someone, isn't that so?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, don't you think that this is an awkward way to handle a switch knife?
What are you asking me that for?
Wait a minute. Give me that knife. What's the matter with me?
Have you seen a knife fight
Yes.
in the movies?
No. In my backyard. On my stoop. In vacant lots across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came to the neighborhood where I lived. It's funny, I did not remember it. Perhaps you don't want to remember these things. Anyone who has ever used a switch knife knows that it's not used downward. Switch knife is always used underhanded.
Then the kid couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
Well, it's conceivable, but if kid had any experience with switch knife, then it's not likely.
I don't believe this.
Neither do I, man. But he's talking a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I don't know.
How about you?
Listen, I'm a little sick of this whole thing already. We are going nowhere fast. Let's break it up and go home.
Oh, wait. Before we decide on anything else further, I'd like to try to pull things together here.
This better be good, huh?
He has every right. Let him go ahead.
Would you like to time this too?
Let's hear me.
I'm in advertising, you know, and I have seen and I'm used to big shot putting up things together. So maybe we may chip a few shots to see if a few of them lands on green.
All right. I want all of you to look at this logically and consistently.
We have guilty.
I want to see if the kid is smart or the kid is dumb.
What do you mean?
See, this kid is an experienced knife fighter, and on the night of murder, he bought a switch knife. So it would take an awfully dumb kid to murder his own father with a weapon that everyone would associate with him.
I agree, he's quite dumb.
But if he were dumb, then why did he make the kind of wound that an inexperienced knife fighter would make?
I'm not sure I understand.
See, to murder someone takes a great emotion, great hatred, and in that situation, one would handle the knife as best as he could, and an trained knife fighter would go underhanded as he has been trained. But an amateur man, an inexperienced knife fighter would go overhanded. Now this kid is being very smart. He knows that all of us know that he is an experienced knife fighter, so he is making the kind of wound that an amateur would make. And he is perhaps smart enough to wipe off all the fingerprints, and perhaps smart enough to wait for the L train to pass by to cover the noise. Now is this kid smart or is this kid dumb?
Hey, wait a minute.
Well,
And one more thing regarding this people in the L train. Oh, yes.
yeah. Well, the woman across the L train, she saw the murder through the L train. So someone in that L train must have also seen the murder.
Yes, it is a possibility, but none that we know of.
It would take an awfully dumb man to take their chances to do the murder as the L train passes by.
Exactly. A dumb man, a very stupid man, a man swept by emotion. Probably he didn't hear anything. Probably he didn't even hear the train coming. And whoever did murder the father did it as well as he could. So, this guy is dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with the murder weapon, that is a switch knife. But at the time of knifing, he's smart enough to do the underhanded, overhanded wound that would lead us to suspect someone else, and he's smart again to wipe off all the fingerprints, but at the same instance, he's dumb to do the murder while the L train is passing by. So to say the kid is guilty, you must say that from 8 o'clock about midnight, he's dumb. Then at about midnight for a second, he's smart. At the same time, for 2-3 more seconds, he's smart again. And again, finally, he is dumb, so dumb that he does not even think of a good alibi. To say that kid is guilty, you must toss his intelligence like a pancake. There is doubt, and doubt.
I hadn't had that.
And regarding this old man downstairs, he absolutely swore in the stand that it was 15 seconds. He insisted on it being 15 seconds, while we all agreed that it was almost about 40 seconds.
So the old man must have also lied in the half of the part, and he's telling truth in the other half of the part.
Exactly. So for the kid to be guilty, he must be stupid, then smart, then stupid, then smart, and so on. And for the kid to be guilty, the old man must be lying half the times and must be telling the truth the other half. There is reasonable doubt.
I'm sold on reasonable doubt.
What, man?
I think I'm too.
I wanted more talk and now I've had it.
Mr. Foreman, we'd like to call in for another vote.
Okay, there's another vote called for, and I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. Anybody object? All right, all those voting not guilty, raise your hands. Nine, and those voting guilty, that's 3. So the vote is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
Look, man, I don't understand you people, man. How can you barely think that that kid is innocent? He doesn't even know what the truth is. He's always lying. I don't need to tell you about that. They get drunk and maybe someone's there in the gutter dead. Look, no one's blaming them, man, but that's how they are, violent. They don't really care for human life the way we do. Hey, where are you going, man? Look, I do agree there are some things good about them. I'll be the first one to recognize that. I have known a few of them who are decent, but most of them, it's like they got no feelings, man. They can just about do anything. Look, what are you guys doing, man? I'm speaking my speak and you listen to me. Look, we need to be careful about this. This kid on trial. I don't need to tell you about this, man. Listen to me.
I have had enough. If you open your mouth one more time, I swear I'm going to scratch your eyes out.
I was just trying to explain.
Shut up. All right, everybody, sit down, please. I still think the boy is guilty beyond reasonable doubt, and I will tell you why. For me, the most damning piece of evidence is the testimony of the woman across the L tracks who claimed that she saw the murder being committed.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
All right, let us go over her testimony once more. What exactly did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. So this woman, she said that on the night of the killing, she went to bed at around 11 o'clock. Her bed is next to the window, and if she lies on her bed, she can look through her window across the street into the window across the street. And on that day, she couldn't sleep for over an hour. So she lay tossing and turning in bed. Finally, at around 10 minutes past 12, she looked out of the window, saw the bat stab his father. I think this is unshakable testimony.
That's right, that is the whole case.
Frankly, in view of this, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal. What do you think?
Me? Well, maybe. There's still so much evidence to look into.
There is no doubt. In view of what she said, you can throw all other evidence out.
That was my feeling too, you know. Although this gentleman here has made quite a few very valid points. So should we say there is doubt on one side of the tracks? But what do you make of the testimony of this woman? She saw it.
What's the time it is?
6 o'clock.
Oh, you don't suppose they'd let us go home? I've got a kid with mums.
Well, not a chance.
Well, can't you look at the clock without your glasses on?
Not clearly.
Oh.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
Well, what do you do when you are in the bed and you want to look at the clock?
I just put on my glasses and have a glance at the clock.
I don't even get up from bed. I just wait for the clock to chime. You know, when we got married, my father gave this clock to us, and it took us 10 years to find a place to put it.
We don't wear our glasses to the bed, do we?
No, nobody wears.
Well, how about that woman who testified that she saw the killing? She wears glasses.
Really? Did she wear glasses?
She did. Bifocals, they were quite strong too. I remember that.
Right, that's right. Bifocals. She never took them off.
I never noticed that. Fancy that.
So it is very logical to say that she wouldn't wear the glasses to glance casually out of the window at night. And according to her own testimony, the lights went off a split second after the murder. So, according to her, she did see a boy, but what she actually saw without the glasses was a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's far-sighted. How does he know all these things?
Does anyone here still think that there is no reasonable doubt?
Look, man, I'll always wonder, but there is reasonable doubt.
I think the boy is guilty.
Does anyone else?
No, I'm convinced now. There is reasonable doubt.
You are alone.
11 votes, not guilty, 1 guilty.
I don't care if I'm alone or not. I have a right.
Yes, you do have a right.
I know the boy is guilty and that's all there is to it. What do you want? What do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my argument.
Well, we are not convinced. We want to hear them again, and we do have a time.
Look, you are the one who made all the arguments. You cannot turn away now. The boy is guilty. We are letting loose a murderer on the street.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm convinced. I'm not wrong often, but this time I was. I'm convinced. There is a reasonable doubt in my mind.
We are waiting.
You cannot intimidate me. I am entitled to my opinions. This is going to be a hung jury and that's it.
Well, we can't help that, except hope that someday, in a few months, you might get some good sleep.
Just accept that you are all alone.
It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
And if we are a hung jury, remember, some of us will point out these things to the other lawyers.
All right.
Well, they are waiting. Not guilty?
Not guilty.
We didn't need to work. He was so much good. He was so much good in improvising. Matlab, during the practice, we used to laugh. Bhai, please come improvise. That was the thing.
Galis were original. Okay, that's all.
It's not a family factor.
Regarding the entire crew which has been working on this entire project. This was just a cast, okay? All these sets, all these beautiful costumes and everything, the amazing poster which has been made there. I'd like to call upon the stage, the crew as well. Mr. Puri Shah. And our costume and all the hairstyles was done by Future Advocacy.
In the
And it was again Mr. Nikhil